Apparently not. I haven't seen Astro in a while. She not since she asked me that question and then disappeared. I thought she had an age limit on the number on the people that she likes to watch. So I got a little concerned. I said, "Oh, it's just I was 50." I will never be amazed quite enough at how you can go from being just in a good mood, a decent mood, um, to really despising uh, a lot of the circumstances that I think are thrust upon us in the sense that you don't do anything necessarily to directly contribute to it, just kind of happens. I'm a little busy. I mean, hey, people disappear all the time, so I don't really, I'm not going to speculate one way or the other. Um, but because of the nature of what I'm attempting to relay is, I want to say confidential, but I'm going to have to dance around a little bit. So imagine you saw that documentary. You put up documentary, you got to edit it, you have to sit in front of a camera, give some commentary, write out what you're going to say. There's a lot of stuff that's involved with that. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but you can reasonably understand where someone will be tired after doing that. And after that, you stay up for more hours because you try to have a stream at 6 in the morning and one at 6 at night, and then rest in between. And you do that. You have the stream. Fulfill that goal as well, and then you go to sleep, and you wake up at around 11. And right as you're waking up, there's an individual who comes into your quarters and starts to, without any explanation, grab your things and throw them all over the place. Um, just rummage through, right? And you say, well, wait a second. I was sleeping here. I had a good nap, a rest, and now it's being interrupted by this person. But because you don't like drama, and you know that this individual will get ready to start screaming like a maniac over, I mean, the smallest of details, you say, you know what? They're probably, you give them the benefit of that. You say, I'm just going to let them act, do whatever they want. They're probably not going to be in there forever. They're probably looking for something that's not that important to me anyway. Let me just walk out. And you go into a room with another person. Now, the room you go in is about maybe 20 feet away. It's of enough of a short distance for the person to be able to hear what is going on. All the little noises that are being made when you start grabbing stuff. And this person, in all of their, if I'm being mean, I'll say stupidity, and if I'm being kind, I'll say ignorance. Ask you, what's wrong? They see that you're visibly upset. They see that you don't really want to speak because there's probably something around there that you don't want to see heard or have heard. But for whatever reason, they're scratching their head trying to figure out what you're talking about. Now you point in the direction of your corridors, your place of sleeping, and they go, "Oh, I've been meaning to clean that place up for a while." Now this person's been saying this for 2, 3 years. You know, you haven't tried to stop them in the past. You haven't thrown your body in the way to block out them from doing this. They just are lazy and they don't want to take the time to do it. You don't really care one way or the other because most of the stuff that they complain about being in there isn't even yours. So you decide to walk away, to just get out of there because they're getting on your nerves. They're asking you all these questions. The other person is still doing a little rummage thing. You come back about an hour later after getting something to eat, and you find out that they have basically turned this place into the room equivalent of Hurricane Katrina. There's stuff thrown, and remember, one of the people who assisted in this said that they wanted to clean up, and now they've made it even more junky by throwing stuff all over the place. And you mention this, you say, "Hey, what the hell?" Because remember, you have to sleep there at night, and their response is to say, "Oh, well, I'm not done doing this." So you go in there with them, and you watch them as they're randomly grabbing your papers, as they're touching all up on these different things that you really don't want just anyone to grab for no reason. And remember, as they're doing this, that there are two other people who are like you, adults, and have so much more stuff than you that this person had to literally create more rooms just to put their stuff in. And you say, I'm the only one you're going at. This is kind of getting out of hand. And as you're speaking to them, it's like they're ignoring everything you're saying. So you don't raise your voice, but you do start to use some profanity. Now, at this point, one of the two people that you mentioned as having more items decides to come in and just turn into a gorilla and proceed to tell you to get out or leave or whatever. And you go on your way, you walk out, which you think is pointless because you're not going to change your mind. They're still doing something you think is dumb. And now you're getting calls from a person who wasn't even involved in this, but because they're related to you, they feel this desire to stick themselves in these types of things, and they're just talking about how you're so disrespectful. You're all, and you're sitting here thinking to yourself, wait a second, if I can be in a domain with multiple people for multiple years, and they have to pick one day out of that entire year where I said something that was profanity laced to get pissed off and start talking about kicking someone out and moving someone to the garage, maybe it's not me. Maybe I am actually a person who is level headed, that does not start drama for no reason whatsoever in 99% of the instances, because again, this is one day out of 365, not counting all the other years. So you can kind of start to see where this seems a little, basically BS. And that is a very, I guess, not too detailed, but still the gist of what has occurred. I mean, I never would have thought I would wake up and just and then the fallout. You get smeared as being, after you do a an hour long documentary where you've got to write a script, you have to speak about this, you have to remember who said what. You get told that you're lazy. Oh, you edited, oh, big deal. But again, it's all tied to this thing of, I'm trying to now make it seem like you are the worst person in the world because you did one thing one day I didn't like out of a whole year. So I said I really just hate people so much, just on a level of, like, my dream world would just be to be alone, record some stuff, and then just go away. No, there's this is an authoritative figure problem, and again, they got offended because I used facts and reasoning. I actually have a collection of well, some proof that they have been screamed at by the other people who reside here. And I find it so ironic that when they get yelled at by these other people, they don't talk about throwing someone out, none of this trash. But if I, say some bad words, oh my God, it's World War III. It's really egregious. But like I said, it's the double standard I'm used to it. I just get tired of the brick walls. They want you to listen to everything they say, and then it goes in one ear and out the other. And then these people are so used to taking sides automatically that they completely disavow. I mean, like, think how insane this is. You don't bother any of these people, and then one day they just start messing with all your stuff, and you're not supposed to get mad. You're supposed to sit there and go, "Please throw my stuff away," as I just go and just sit here. And they're talking about getting rid of more of it, and you're like, "Well, hell, when does it stop?" Yeah, but even in being pissed, I still did not shout. I also, I don't. If you heard the vernacular and the volume of some of these other people when they get into it with them over something they don't like that they're doing, it would be a complete just. Hold on a second. Oh, It's funny. I told that person, if you have anything you have to say to me, please say it before I stream. And then they still, God. So, hey, perfect example right there. In advance of me streaming, I said, can you please, well, it it's a lot more complicated to do than just, you see, what I would love to do is not have the possibility of ever uh, coming back. So if I still think there's a slight chance that could happen, I'm not going to do it, because when I end it, I want it to be a complete withdrawal of all interactions. I want to just be like a deceased person then at that point. And really, it sucks because no one has done up to today anything this crazy. I mean, I'm really expected as a person who, just like anyone else, has things that they like, or that they don't want someone to mess with. Expected to just sit there, sit back, relax, don't get pissed off. As like, I don't understand what emotion one is supposed to take in that scenario that isn't, hey, what the hell? And then when you try to speak to them, they completely ignore you, or they ignore the words that are coming out of your mouth because they're so inclined in favor of the other person that they don't look at the facts of anything that's happened. And that person who first came in here and started doing all this, there was a whole bunch of stuff right here. There was a whole bunch of stuff right there. They didn't put it back. That's why I said, they're inconsiderate. They get pissed off over any little thing. I mean, like, I'll never understand how you can have a 2 hour uh, confrontation over someone wearing a shoe that has the back part coming out. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But again, I don't. That's why I don't like being around people, because I don't reason the way they do. I don't sit there and look for things to get pissed off about that are not really that big of a deal. Still, man, I was so tired when I finished that documentary. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Astro, but I watched that, and then I first I had to make it. And I had to watch it, and then right after making it, I wake up. This kicks off, and I have some idiot talking about, "Oh my God, you're so lazy." And you said start making some moves to get. I have, but again, the privacy and space thing is most aggravating because the other people who are around here, they don't have these things done to them. I'm the anointed one of of having their privacy invaded. Let's say, like I said, been kind of been. No, I know what truly happened. You were so disappointed that I wasn't of some older age, so you decided to withdraw. So I'm out of here. And then you were paid by what's a liberal donor, Soros, to come and try to say something, or make some other effort to speak again. I was so flattered that he would donate to you in that way. See, I may was pretty close, I would say. Oh man, how'd you know? Oh, I didn't ask, but I guess thanks for telling me that. Also, I've been told that you have a Discord server. I don't know if that's true or not. And you can confirm. I'm not saying you do, so don't get upset. Oh, I'm on there as well. Would you like me to invite you to my trash? I mean, my server. I hope you don't get pissed off and leave right after joining like someone else. I wish you could have seen it. That was a crazy Monday. This guy sat here for what was it? About 20 minutes, losing his mind because he found out I liked a prior U.S. president. It's like it has no effect on my content. Like I don't even talk about him on here. I'm trying to. Hold on a second. I can't just click my heels and make the link appear. I had to go dig for it. he had invited me to his, and I told him I'm not joining anybody else's because every time I do, the same thing happens. Me and the person have a falling out. I wake up the next day, there's an icon missing, and I know that they're trying to get revenge on me for I guess not agreeing with whatever their position was. So I'm really glad I like that was excellent foresight. I knew, saw that coming. It's like there's going to be something with this dude because see all these servers are run by people who just if you don't agree with them they find any reason to get rid of you. And it's been the reverse for me. I've actually gotten pissed because some people will literally leave for no reason. I had a guy who was in there who admits that he only goes on Discord once a week or twice a week or some small number of time. And instead of, you know, like he literally got out of the server. Yeah, sometimes, but I don't usually go in there because no one is ever in there. Like it's a ghost town. I'll post a link or say something, and maybe one person will respond every 5 or 7 days or something. Yeah, it's funny that I see people get mad or where they want to kick somebody out, and they it's the opposite with me. Let's see, maybe more can join at some point. Hey, I mean, I've had yeah, he joined a while ago, but I've had two people come in there. One of them get have a big hissy fit, and the other one just left just to leave. It was really weird. I just all right, well, whatever. People are strange. That's why I said I don't understand people. They do things that don't make sense to me. It's like, oh yes, please invite me to your server so I can leave in a week. Why'd you leave? Well, I wasn't active in there, but you're not active on Discord. Oh, it's not a big deal. If it wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't have left. I'm pretty active on there, so I'll be around. Yeah, if you're as active on there as you are on YouTube, or as I have seen you on YouTube for the last 2 weeks, and I can assure myself I might see you one time, and then you just disappear like Jimmy Hoffa. I should ask you, are you a Teamster? Or it'd be like Natalie Holloway and go to Aruba. Well, what you could do is if you wanted to speak by VC or in some other voice capacity, you could set a day and a time to speak, and then you would be able to. Just saying. That's always an option. By the way, I got this. The reason I have this little spot right here is I got this little flashlight that I was using to try and have some more light than usual. So that's why that thing has been appearing there. Discord is easier for me to keep up with because I can talk on there anytime as to where I'm not always available on YouTube. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, maybe if you had made a video and said, hello, my name is Astro, and I will not be available on YouTube as often as I am on this, then everyone would know, but you didn't say it. So we had to speculate. We know. I'm supposed to believe that you really thought you were unemployed. I was just like, all right, well, she's just not active. When she's not active on these websites, she I don't know, goes for a long walk on the beach for several hours or something. It's like you assumed I was so ignorant. God, I'm looking at this right now in amazement, and it's like it's literally like the reason I compare it to a hurricane is because after doing something this ridiculous, they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna mess with your whatever tomorrow. I'm like, really? The stupidity never stops. And like I said, you can't critique them on anything, and they're more tolerant. And actually, I brought this up when I was talking to my friend, the one that was on the stream last year. They're more tolerating the same person when that idiot broad had that baby that they can't afford with the guy that they put in jail. They were more tolerating of that person's behavior than of me saying some comments while they're throwing away my stuff. Ruben says disaster economy. Yeah, Ruben, did you see the O'Rourke documentary? Did you like it? I had to slap all that together right after he dropped out. He's already in there. Glad I caught your stream this time. Hello. Yeah, Megumi, I know you want some romance stuff. Um, I mean, I'm just discussing something that really, really was dumb that occurred. Hey, VVS, would you be happy if you woke up and I was in your room throwing away your stuff or like going through it? Would you smile? I'm just saying, like, well, Astro set it up. Say, hey, I can do this tomorrow at I don't know the afternoon or the evening. Well, VVS, that's literally what happened when I got up today after I went to sleep following my stream. I was up all night as I am a lot of times now. Um, and right after I wake up, this person does this nonsense. All right, well then we'll do it after the stream if you want. But yeah, I wake up and I get like, what the hell is that? I talk about you are so disrespectful. If I was, how the hell do these people not have a problem with me all the other days throughout the year? Like like I said, the first chance they get to see that you're upset over something, they have at it. Oh, Ruben, you only saw part of it. And then I ended up watching your Louis Gohmert or whatever his name, however his name is spelled, video instead. Pedro Odor. Well, Ruben, I thought you would like it because I have all the progressive in there. I got Kyle in there. I got Jimmy in there. I have the Humanist Report. I tried to stick. What's the other guy's name? The one from Canada. I'm forgetting his name, but I tried to put him in there too because he also covers the campaign quite a bit. Can't believe Bennett of all people outlasted O'Doherty. Well, he got in after him, so he may still be in following him, but we'll see how. I don't think he'll make it to next year. I really don't. I'll be surprised. So he's not gonna. He's on his last leg. Let's see. He is in it in name only. Yeah, there's no chance for him. And he actually, I think he gave some crybaby speech where he was saying this race is only between the top candidates, and they're purposely making it to where if you're not in the top 10, you can't even. They're trying to exclude you, which is true. But I mean, why the hell are you running if there's people doing better month after month? I still love how they said O'Rourke saw that one poll where he was at 1% in Iowa. And I was just sitting there thinking to myself, you spent all those days over there. And before you got in the race, you were in third place. And when you got in, it was just, it just crashed. I'm 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 hoping that Beto's exit will give the other nobodies the courage to exit. Well, it's an ego trip. They all think that there's like some magic that's going to happen to where their failing campaigns are going to be saved overnight. So if you watch any interviews with Booker, he goes, "Well, Obama was actually polling at this late in the game." It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean you're going to see some surge out of nowhere, especially when you have nothing to offer or you're offering nothing that is of any higher value than anybody else. So he's doing his delusion thing too. Everybody thinks they have a shot, and I really don't get how it is where you say to yourself, there are 20 people in this race. I will be the one as I'm polling at 2%, 1% to turn the tide and rise. Should I got more should I get more alcohol or not? Of course not. We don't do drugs here. That's for those liberal degenerates. Ruben said Harris pissed. Harris pray. Harris pissed. Harris praised O'Rourke yesterday because of his anti-gun speech. Well, that was something I brought up in the documentary that you never heard him talking about guns until the El Paso shooting, and then he conveniently became this leading advocate for gun control. Give me a break. He was so adversely affected. So yeah, it's just a big scam. These people make themselves seem like they're so upset over this stuff, and then he was in the house for what 6 years, and you can't think of any time he actually let on. I think the only thing I remember him doing in the house as it relates to gun control was when we had the not we, but when the Orlando shooting, because I know he was part of the group that sat in during that. But other than that, he pretty much ignored the issue because it stands for nothing. And the few views that we know he has are kind of not really good at all. This has been such a it's so crazy how this day started off so good and it went to crap. And I mean, the afternoon just spoiled everything. And that was an annoying noise. I hate Discord so much. Wish I could turn the sound off on that thing. Get drunk. I'm good. I don't drink, by the way. I view drinking the same way I view tattoos. I don't have a problem with people who participate in them, but it's not me. I'm not like these romance communists on here. If you don't do something I don't do, I don't instantly think it's the worst thing ever. You have to apologize. It's just like, I guess there was no way of knowing that in advance because I've only been seeing on here drinking water or some soda or something. But learn something new every day. Megumi says I agree with that. Megumi, I want to ask you. Imagine you're just laying down and then all of a sudden you see me doing this with your stuff. Would you smile and go, okay, yeah, just yeah, you can mess with my things. It's okay. It's all right. I think we should all go get on VC. Well, again, I'm doing a stream, man. Let me at least get an hour in. I always try to, when I do the live shows, do an hour of it. Usually after, see, last Saturday was perfect because I stayed up long enough to. I don't think I did a stream. Yeah, I did the stream that morning, and then I recorded a bunch of stuff after that. Yeah, I mean, if people want to do it after that, then it's fine. Yeah, Megumi, yeah, that's literally what happened today. I was debating if I even wanted to do a show because I was so pissed off a few hours ago, and I was, people don't get a lot of times if something is garbage or horrible. I try to make light of the sort because I've said before, it none of this stuff is really new in the sense that sometimes you think they've reached a new level of low or it's creepy, but it's you can kind of look at their past behavior and go, you know what, that's something that isn't too surprising that they did. Let's see. I'll be around on there. Thanks for the invite. Well, again, I'm open to speaking to people in the server. They just never show interest in doing so. So I'm not. I'm just saying it's usually a thing of people don't ever show up. So I just go, all right, whatever. And I still got to record this stuff. I'll probably stay up until like 12 or 2 or something and do it then because people will either be away or asleep or something. Like record it. Man, I had such a beautiful set of plans for the day, and they ruined that so much. And they always find something new to pick at. Like I remember, this is Pacific Standard Time, so it's 6 p.m. over here, 6:34. But yeah, I remember I used to have this one person that would so weird and backwards. Yeah, Megumi, you just wake up and that happens. And like, the same person who was okay with someone having a child they couldn't afford and people screaming at them over other stuff acts like you saying a couple of curse words while you're in a calm voice critiquing what they're doing is the worst thing ever happened. And then when you bring these things up and you say, hey, this is nowhere near the level of this other stuff people have done, they go, that has nothing to do with this. Like, yes, it does. you're talking about making something not be junky or whatever, but it's in the same domain. It's the same place. That's like me saying I want to make sure. Imagine if Beverly Hills and what's a idea of a street that people like Compton. Let's say those two are right next to each other, right? And I say I want a clean California where you can go to any street and not see uh, I don't know, stuff on the sidewalk or people living in poverty. And then I make sure that Beverly Hills, everyone has a position, everyone is taken care of, the streets are clean. And then you go right to the next door to Compton and all the people are laying out and there's trash everywhere. Like that's literally what this person doesn't get. It's in the same domain. You can pick and critique and do everything you want to that one side, but if the other one is not being attended to, it makes you look like you're just picky about particular things you have a problem with while you let other ones sit there and slide. It really isn't hard to get this, but like I said, there seems to be some kind of comprehension problem with these people, and it's really as if only when you start swearing or saying something that is profane that they actually start to pay attention to what's being stated. And I said before, I've tried very hard to avoid drama with people. I try to read all these different comments that people write. Yeah, be still, man. You saw me right before I had the I don't even know what this was, but I've really attempted to not bump elbows with these people at all. And on one day where you I guess maybe verbally slip up or you finally just have had enough of it, now you're the demon. I mean, that's crazy. But again, because people lack critical thinking skills, they don't say it. Wait a second, this person sat here. Yeah, flashlight. I got that nice light to brighten myself up. But they don't sit here and say, wait a second, if this person acted regular and respectful and all the other, enough to where I never felt I had to say something to them about the way they were acting. Maybe it's more so that circumstance than that person. I had someone who literally I've known for at least 10 years. And last year they confronted me over me swearing about this, let's just say a circumstance, right? And they said, oh, I had never heard you speak like that before. And I said, you know, if you've never heard me talk that way before, and I've been so calm and collected in all these different instances of you seeing me, maybe it's the circumstance that is so ridiculous that it causes that person to act the way they don't normally do. Okay, Ruben says, I just realized that John Delusion is basically the younger version of Joe Biden. Completely, we give everybody a nickname, completely detached from regular people. I had to figure out you were talking about Delaney. I was scratching my head. Yeah, he's just a bald version of Biden, a bald younger version of Biden, a bald younger. Um, I would say more of a douchebag. Like, see, the thing about Biden is even if when he claims and lies about single payer or any of the other progressive proposals, he still tries to say it in a way that doesn't seem condescending. Uh, but with Delaney, he's like, I mean, why would anyone even support single payer? I mean, it's going to add on a whole bunch of $1 trillion to the debt and you can't even pay for it. That kind of ridiculousness. But again, he's getting what he deserves, so that's why he's been running the longest and polling the least. Like if I ran for president for 2 years and I was at 1, 2, 3%, I would have dropped out a long time ago. And he's been in what two debates and still couldn't pull it off. It just seems common sense of let's see, common sense or the critical thinking skills becoming more of a rarity in this era. I really wish I could show and specify what happened there. I mean, it was so. And again, I'm saying this from a perspective of someone who goes out of their way to not have conflicts with people, to go along to get along in the sense that I try to pick my battles. And it was so brazen and ridiculous and out of nowhere that I couldn't do it. I said, "This is dumb. Why are you? What the hell?" And at that point, this other person got involved. Let's see. It's going to be a showdown between Biden and Bernie. I think Bernie is going to be side. I think. Oh, B still said he will. He said that he thinks Bernie is going to be sidelined again. Let's see, like they did during the 2016 election. Be still is so negative. He's so pessimistic. And watch, it'd be funny if Beastos says, "Oh, no, I say that because I have evidence of super delegate corrupt." I'm like, you're just pessimistic. Get out of here. We don't want to hear you naysayers. You people give us idolists a bad name. That's what they do now. Whenever you have an argument that somebody doesn't like, that leans in the direction of a bad outcome, they always tell you just being negative. No matter how much evidence you have to support your position, they just say to get out of here. Ruben says Delaney was polling at less than three. Megumi, you don't think you'll get with the woman because you've approached 300 of them. You're just being negative. Okay, Delaney was polling at less than 3%, even when he was the only candidate so far. But that's why I said it. It he got in that race early because he thought if he spent more time campaigning, it would translate to something. But he still is unknown, and he's still people who do know him, like me, don't like him at all. It's a showdown between Sanders, Biden, and Warren, Kamala's replacement. And Warren's been around longer, so I wouldn't call her that in particular, but it is what it is. You mean replacement is in polling? Because if that's the case, then yeah. I just think it's funny. Kamala in the entire campaign been running longer than almost I think anyone still in the race other than Castro. The only time she ever was doing great was for 1 month before she got destroyed by a certain person from Hawaii that will remain nameless. Man, they really just they flipped this upside down on me. I'm still sitting here amazed at the just the way this all this played out. I don't care because he doesn't care about. Be still. Come on. Okay. Be still says he loves the officers. They help him survive. Hashtag Blue Lives Matter. Man, be still. You and these officers. I'm starting to think you're dating one of them. Said the same thing during the other stream. Man, I'm so amazed that I'm just waiting for the day where I wake up and there's like a hole in my wall or someone is I don't know claiming I touched them or something. We're getting to a point where it's like people will just find any reason and concoct anything to start getting in someone's space and being creepy as hell. Now I'll be still. When I went to did that stream, I went to sleep, woke up, and that's when all this stuff started. I really wish I could just be left alone. Like I wish I could. Again, my ideal world is put up videos, um, work, sleep, and just every time you try to involve people and stuff and talk to them, they act so dumb, and then they freak out over the smallest of stuff. Oh my god, this person's ruined. It doesn't matter. It's all cosmetics. That's why I said that I could never be one of these people that owns a bunch of clothes or anything else that does not provide utility because people have excesses of them, but it's really there for no reason. I know a lot of people who, and I've said this before. I know a broad who will be the first one to say she lives paycheck to paycheck, but every time you see her, she's wearing a different outfit or got her nails did. So I don't buy it in that person's respect. Now, again, because that one person makes stupid choices that have landed them in the circumstances that they're in, it doesn't mean that every single person, that is poor willfully does things to make themselves that way. It's just that that person doesn't get my sympathy because I've seen them do the same repeated cycle of foolishness for too long. Let's see, clean, decent clothes attract cologne. All right, be still. I get that you're trying to apply to be a dating coach, but I'm good. Maybe you can help Megumi out. Hey, be still. Imagine you go to. Remember you were saying in the other stream that it was show and tell for Congress when Gohmert was giving his speech. Imagine if you go over there and then one of the staffers is like, "Hello, sir," and you're like, "Oh my God, it worked." Me going to story time actually produced a quality chick. I'm so happy. This thing I hated so much resulted in such a great, wonderful thing. This is so terrific. Got a little circle. I'm trying to flash that off. No one cares. It's the weirdest flashlight in the world. Yeah, click it to turn off like 3 times. Because first that part on the end will start blinking, or it'll after just being a light by itself. And I know it does that because if you're riding a bike and you want to have you're in the dark, that's supposed to go off to signal that you're right over there. So it is useful. It's just because I don't ride a bike or do anything like that. I don't need it. It's just there. Uh, Louis could find me a woman, and I can save the nation. There won't be any more gossip mongering or threats of civil war. A friend of a friend will start a civil. Not me. Just some people will feel tempted to retaliate over Trump being impeached. He taught us a new word. It sucks because I was really going to play. Was it? He had like 5 different clips he put up this week, and I played 2 of them. I was going to play all of them, but then he put up that huge speech. That's all right. I'm good. Some random guy, 6 degrees of separation. Lagumi says he's got a flashlight, but must mean he is going to become an upcoming shooter. Oh yeah, that's what they do. That any kind of um, thing you have or say, people like to take it. Like I remember again, I did the stream about the guy who said nothing matters, but then he goes to work and does all these things that would indicate that someone does care about something. Otherwise, you wouldn't do them. And that's all I said during the stream, along with talking to somebody that was in there. And this guy comes in my comment section talking about, uh, "You are straw manning your point by." So it's like, what? I mean, when you just sit here and speak on the topic, they really try to make it seem as if you have some uh, hateful ulterior motive to bring down some ideology. Like, no, I'm just talking about something someone said that I don't think makes sense. With, oh yeah, I know some people love to argue. Well, I don't. The closest you can get to me debating something is if it's some person I've seen over and over that I don't think is trying to screw with me. But as far as when people write paragraphs and stuff in my comment section, I just roll my eyes and ignore it. Because I told you the last time I responded to a comment back in February, it was a Trump supporter, and they were talking about Syria and his decision to, you know, stay in there after saying he would pull out. They pretended like, oh, I'm so interested in hearing what you have to say. But then when I said something they didn't like, they insulted me. I said, all right, screw this. Because it's pointless. And I don't need to be spoken that way by people that have never met me. It's unnecessary. So are wherever you differ, that's like the go signal. Oh yeah, dude. I've seen people take an entire hour-long stream and they'll pick like 2 minutes of it and then write a whole paragraph about that. So it's really not necessary. You could just say, "Hey, I don't agree with this point because blah blah blah." Like I don't think I've ever left, especially if it's someone I don't like, a comment that was longer than 2 or 3 sentences. People over here writing novels. Ruben says, "Have you heard about Microsoft's new system to oversee voting posts during the 2020 elections to oversee alleged election fraud? I can show it to you if it has Israel networks too. Or I will post it in the server, or send it to me on some social media." Also, Ruben, if you woke up today and you saw me randomly grabbing your stuff and throwing it around, Wouldn't you be kind of annoyed by that, or would you just go, okay, he can mess with my stuff, it's all right. I don't have a problem with that. It's fine. I want to know. I'm very curious. Also, I am working on the Taft documentary. I don't want to give it a specific date because while I'm trying to shoot for next weekend, something could come up. Like the O'Rourke thing came out of not what he was failing, but I mean, these people have been sitting in this race month after month, so I didn't expect him to get out until losing Iowa. What's funny is they expect you to hit refresh and check the updates. Google is doing quantum supremacy now. They're gonna have viruses wearing hoods and with with ropes. I think that O'Rourke has balls to get out now. Of course he has balls. He's a man, ma'am. I mean, come on. Be still. Google's gonna be the first company to incorporate European supremacy into into their updates. It means he's an honest, realistic person. Well, he appeared to be honest and realistic when he ran for Senate, and then between that and the presidential campaign, when he surrounded himself with all those Obama staffers, he just flipped. Oh, Ruben didn't respond. Damn it. Oh, he already said he doesn't want to run against Cornyn. We will. The most likely scenario is he'll run against Cruz for a rematch for that Senate seat. In what was that 2024? So he'll just be out of the news year after year. Check who President Taft dad was. Alfonso. I know he was. Yeah, a holdover from the not Coolidge. That's I feel stupid for saying that. From Grant's tenure. Yeah, never gets discussed. The Taft family is actually I think it might be the only political dynasty where it's grandfather, father, and son who are all significant in some capacity. Oh, I was saying, Ruben, this is in reference to the thing that I started the stream off talking about. Imagine if you were laying in your bed and all of a sudden I came in your room and I started pulling all this stuff out. And then, you went and told this other person and they came in there and started pulling stuff out and they had everything thrown around. Would you be okay with that? Would you smile? Would you say, oh, that's all right. It's okay. It's fine. It's perfect. You can do this. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah, that's what happened today. I mean, like, God, sometimes people are so lucky. I think about, uh, I guess, long term, because if I didn't, I would just curse so many people out. I mean, whether it be voice actors, trolls, I would swear like a sailor. It would be. I'd probably create some new words. And I actually did when one of them called me earlier today. I did scream at them because it's just like, and again, here they always do this where you start off talking in a regular voice and then they don't really listen to what you have to say, so then you raise it and then they go, oh my god, he's so ridiculous. Ugh. Okay, Taft was very influential with the history of Yale University. um yeah, I haven't heard too much about that. I'm not going to look into it. It does suck because I'd have to try. I'm gonna try to see if I can incorporate that into discussing the president. So add his father's ventures as well. Maybe there can be a brief mention of it at the start. So that'll be my solution to that. Also, if I'm able to not be shackled with, because the thing about the O'Rourke one is I didn't write a script for that. I just had some notes of what I wanted to say. So there was a lot of stuttering and whatnot. I'll try to write out a whole script for the Taft one. If I did an Obama one, I would make it sound like a serial killer documentary. Like I would speak in some sinister tone and have some horrid music in the background. I think it would be amusing. Well, it would be a reference to my ideology. Anybody has anything else left to say? Or we're all just gonna sit here and stare at me, scratch my head, trying to figure out why people around me are so goddamn stupid. Um, let's see. Beto was white Obama pretending to be. I thought he was. What form of Hispanic is he? I thought he was. I've been hearing he wasn't Hispanic. I don't even know anymore. Who cares? But Ruben, again, in that documentary, I'm that's brought up that he was supposed to be this Obama-like figure, and it didn't work well enough. And that's what I'm saying, Astra. Who cares? Don't give a hoot. It's all irrelevant. Only people who care about that are the identity politics people, like the ones who flew Harris out to Martha's Vineyard over the summer of 2017, and were like, "Yeah, if we have her as the nominee, we can call you sexist and racist." Those are the only people who care about that. The rest of us just, whatever. Lost to a guy who lost to Trump. Yeah, well, that was the point that Jimmy made in the excerpt. I have him in the video. The guy who lost to the guy who lost to Trump is best suited to challenge Trump. The person who lost to the guy who lost to the game show host is the best suited to beat Trump. That was the point that was made there. So I have all of the different progressive commentators in that. It's so wonderful. It's like a little spectacle of a left wing critique. And I'm so disturbed by what happened. I'm not even hungry. I haven't eaten since I think it was like 12:30, 12:40, 1 o'clock. Usually, breakfast, lunch. I didn't have breakfast. I had lunch, and that was it. Because the events that occurred after I woke up made me sick to my stomach. I mean, this stuff was really dumb. Um, Before someone says, "Oh my God, you're still harping," I was like, "Yeah, I mean, what do you have to say when you, as an adult, do not have the right to your own quarters to be able to determine what your stuff looks like or resembles?" And none of these people run by you what they want to do. They just come in there and do it, and you're like, "What the hell?" And you're surrounded by a bunch of people, with the exception of one who, and oh man, I really do love my relationship with my best friend. He's the one person you can discuss all of these stupid people around you with, and he has no fish in the water, so he'll critique them in the same capacity. You say peace. I'm, I again, I would be more than happy to do that, but I have to be assured that there is no way in hell I'm ever going to come back. And I'll put it like this: I'm more closer to that being the case than it not being the case. Let's see. I don't care about the identity politics stuff, the identity politics nonsense either. I just think it's funny how Beto goes out of his way to pander. Also, Obama sucks regardless of what his race was. Yeah, And I guarantee you, if you knew what my circumstance was, you would not you would not be saying that. No, I understand. Well, again, I have I mean, my thing is at a certain point, I still have made it to where it's not specific enough to just go, oh, it was that one person that we know in particular did that, which is why I say this person did this person did that. And then Jimmy says, right wingers always claim identity politics nonsense, lol. Yeah, Jimmy seems familiar. I think I've seen him before. Craigslist rooms for rent. Uh, I've seen a lot. Everything I hear about Craigslist is somebody's getting murdered. And I always said, why don't they just meet at a police station? Because when I met the that one imbecile back in May, who will remain nameless, but I've mentioned a couple times, I said, "Hey, look, if you are freaked out or worried, we can meet in a public venue." And then we did. We met at it was some coffee place where they had a window where you could look in there and see. They had some workers on the side. Everybody was there, and I was perfectly fine with it. I'm not trying to do anything to these idiots. So I said my greatest offenses, both online and in the public realm, or in real life, have been saying things that people don't like. Ruben said Craigslist is still operating. I thought they were over. I haven't heard about them in years. Esther says, "Sorry, I know it's easier said than done. I've just been where you're at, so I can relate." Um, again, I'm just saying these people are it's a combination of some unstable people who again get pissed off over anything, and a bunch of circumstances that are out of my control. I told the story of going to an interview and telling these people I need this, saying I'm willing to go this day, that day, whatever. Uh, really selling the idea that this is something I'm committed to and that is essential to me. And the guy says was a good interview, and you don't hear anything back from him. And then when you call them enough times, they announce that they hired somebody else. So but I'll then get smeared as someone who, you know, didn't try hard enough or some trash. And so I roll my eyes because people they don't want to actually look at what's going on. They just want a simplified, dumbed down version to fit into their own little pre-established viewpoint of whoever they're speaking in reference to. Jimmy says they only got rid of personals the personal section. Oh, okay, that's the part of Craigslist they removed. Again, Jimmy, I'm not a person who uses Craigslist, so I apologize for sounding so ignorant. Yeah, it's them and what's the other one? Backpage that have gone and basically changed themselves. I know Backpage got seized. They put some government stamp on the website. I had never seen anything like that before when it happened 2 years ago. But these people really said we're not going to let this website be up anymore. It's like, yeah, but if they're operating from Vegas, it's legal to do that. It's like I know it's the World Wide Web, but it's legal in other places as well. So it was really crazy. I said people they do things I don't understand. Like, oh yes, we want to stop the horrors of I was going to say the horror of horrors, the horror of prostitution, and we're going to make this website go down. But we're going to also ensure that people can't just encounter each other on there because every person that's on there must automatically be trying to screw the other person, which as adults they would legally be able to do. But whatever. All these websites have their own agenda. Told you whenever the internet starts that censorship stuff, usually it has to be some really creepy website for me to have a problem with it staying up. And usually those aren't, they're on the deep web or some other capacity to where you'd have to dig and dig to find them. All right, I think I'm almost. I'll try to do another 10 minutes. Yeah. And now that'll be a good point to say screw it and then wrap it up. Um, Man, what a shocking turn of events. You go from being on cloud nine because I really didn't think I would finish that documentary that quickly. I thought I was gonna have to take a couple of days or something, but like I got the clips and I arranged them in I think a fairly decent order, try to make the audio sync up, and then wrap it up and let's go. Damn, trying to command me. Well, I am the YouTube slave, so it makes sense. I've never heard Ruben's voice before. I doubt it, but yeah, it'll be nice to hear it at once. What is this? CBD gummies. I'm good. Hey, I'm the YouTube slave according to that person that got pissed off. So automatically, whatever you want, I gotta sit here with my hands tied and address it and acquiesce to your petulance. We would never say anything that disagrees with you, boss. We just want an extra piece of chicken and rub it tub. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm very giddy to hear Ruben. I could almost dance. It'd be funny if it would be sad is that if I actually did get up and dance and like play some random music, somebody in the comment section would say, "Oh my God, he danced because he was going to hear another person's voice of the same gender. Homosexuality confirmed." It's like, man, I actually told my best friend, I was like, "We can't do anything. If we go see a movie, people say it's gay. If you go to the diner, people say it's gay." I mean, holy hell, they will find any reason to like take any friendly gesture and like impose some romantic context. Right? It's crazy. Hell, I'm scared to even call them without being called that or told that rather. So people act really ridiculous. But like I said, I don't look to online for interactions that are really that good. I saw John, it wasn't that good. Oh, I saw Joker, it wasn't that good. What's Jimmy laughing at? Did I say something that made him tickled? He went, oh, Ruben, why didn't you like that movie that everyone attacked for no reason? I'm so glad I don't go to theaters anymore, unless someone that I know wants to go see something. Because every time you go online, all they do is spoil it and say, "Oh, this was horrible," and then you go see it, you go, "I didn't really see a problem with it," and then they just relax, man. I wish Jimmy would tell me what has had him so amused. I'd love to know. I'm very curious. 'Cause I'm not a comedian, so if there's some line I had that he thought was, I don't know, uh, funny, then I'd like to be informed of it. But he won't tell me. He wants to keep me in the dark. I say that and I turn the flashlight off or the lights off, and then like, oh, he has me in the dark. He did that. I don't know. I just felt that it didn't live up to the hype. The media hysteria was stupid and pathetic. Well, I told you they're trying to take these terms and stick them on everybody now. Like if you come on here and you talk about, um, I don't know, the chick stuff in a disparaging way, you're automatically part of those two groups that I will not name. I don't use see BBS actually uses their names and it's I don't use their names at all. Still get considered part of the group. Everybody's getting lumped into these categories because they're trying to control the narrative. Let's see more of those psychopath killer movies white folks love. Jimmy says that as he looks at his hand, which reveals he's Caucasian. He's like those white people like me, and he has like a whole collection of those behind. And then there's like a pan out shot of all his neighbors who are the same ethnicity, and none of them have those movies. So he's mostly just talking about himself. It'll be great on screen irony if someone actually made a scene like that. All right. Well, because there is a seeming lack of comments being written, and it's cool. People, they choose to come when they want to. I'm gonna wrap it up here. I will sit in my servers. Matter of fact, let me log on my phone. I'm gonna sit in my servers VC for like if no one comes in there for maybe 10 minutes, and I'll get out. So I'll be in there longer if someone comes in there, just to clarify. But if I'm in there by myself, then I'm I'm disappearing. All right, well, Ruben, I appreciate seeing you. And like I said, I intend to do the documentary this week. Um, I'm just people need to stop being so damn annoying. Like, oh my god. But yeah, I appreciate those who showed up, and see you next week or in the stuff I put up this week. I'll do a stream tomorrow as well.